world is a mysterious place, sometimes a dark place. Unfortunately for me, the world I live in is considered both dark and mysterious. My name is Jack Fletcher. I'm a police detective in Detroit, and I specialize in homicide, and considering my current habitat, that line of work never really gets boring. Granted, while most cases that slide across my desk in that stereotypical manila folder are related to gang shootings, every once in a while I'll get one that stands out. A wife murders her cheating husband, or a son slices his rich father's throat to obtain the family fortune. Those are just a few examples. Overall, the criminals I've busted have accumulated 284 life sentences, if my memory serves me well. Not like I'm bragging or anything. "So why'd you do it, Caleb?" I asked.
"Listen here, detective. I didn't do anything," he replied in a very hasty tone. "I'm telling you, I went over to Robin's house on Friday for a little get-together, but I left after everyone started getting wasted."
Caleb Linderman was just one of a few suspects in the murder of Robin Simmons, a 22-year-old female who was murdered in her townhome at Rosedale Park off of Piedmont Street. At first, I wasn't sure whether or not Caleb could have been capable of murder. Then, the evidence started stacking up. We couldn't confirm it, but we were sure the murderer was a male due to the excessive amounts of force needed to kill Robin and the way she was killed. What starts as a clue ends up as evidence, and in this case, it was especially incriminating. Alright then, let's start with that. Tell me what was going on when you first arrived at her house that night. You can obtain a lot of information from an interrogation, not just from what a suspect says, but how they say it. Body posture, speech pace, eye contact, all of those things are monumental indicators of whether or not someone is either lying or withholding information. So let me tell you that Caleb was definitely doing possibly the former and definitely the latter. He spoke immediately and quickly after I finished speaking.
"I got there about 9:30. There were maybe a dozen people there already, talking to each other and drinking. I had maybe 3 beers. Everyone else, especially Robin, was well past their 8th or 9th. Robin went into a bedroom with this guy, Brady, and I assume they did their dirty deed. I left after I saw her go in with them."
"Brady Nelson?" I asked.
"Yeah, that's the guy."
Little did Caleb know that was exactly the information I was looking for. At this point, it was time for me to get what I needed out of him. "So you saw Brady go into the bedroom with her, and that's when you left. Next thing you know, you're hearing about Robin's death the next day?"
"That's right. I can only assume Robin didn't want to have sex with Brady, so he got angry. He probably raped and killed her right there on the spot. Then he must have run off the next day to avoid what he had done."
Well, that is pretty typical for an angry drunken guy who was denied sex, minus the running away. However, Brady provided me with a different story. Caleb's face immediately drained of all color. His eyes widened to the size of a silver dollar. One, at first, would assume that he was becoming scared. That one would be correct in assuming so, but Caleb quickly tried to hide his expression with a grin.
"You found Brady? Did you arrest him?" he asked hastily, eagerly awaiting my response.
"Oh, we found him. Only he hadn't run off to a different state, not even a different city. We searched your house, Caleb."
The grin across Caleb's face instantly fell open to express extreme shock. "What the fuck? You can't just walk into my home."
Come on, Caleb. TV doesn't get everything right, but a search warrant is definitely one of them. It wasn't hard considering you were just one of a few suspects. So yes, we searched your house. And boy did we find the motherlode. Not many houses have them, but you poorly covered the small trapdoor to that little storage area beneath your bedroom. We found Brady down there, and apparently, contrary to your belief, he wasn't dead. After getting him the medical help he needed, he told us everything. That it was you who went into the bedroom with Robin that night, that you weren't the only one who didn't drink much, that you raped Robin after she refused to have sex with you, and then you killed her right after she started screaming for help. But you didn't count on Brady. He was the only one sober enough to realize what was going on, and when he went to your house to confront you, you stabbed him in the neck with a fillet knife, and then you dumped him in the hole."
I don't...
Caleb paused briefly.
His head sunk down between his shoulders as he began to sob. It was confession enough for me, but legally I had to get him to say it. As heinous as the crime he committed was, he's still a human being, full of emotion and very capable of making mistakes. Caleb, come clean with us. You're only making it harder on yourself. The more you put this off, the longer the DA will have you in prison. Alright, fine, I did it. I killed Robin. Yeah, I wasn't drunk, but I was still not in my right mind. I got scared, and when Brady saw me, I got even more scared. I didn't want to go to jail. I'm sorry, okay? I'm really sorry. I know, Caleb, but don't be sorry to me. Be sorry for Robin and Brady's family. Caleb Linderman, you're under arrest for the murders of both Robin Simmons and Brady Nelson. Wait, what? Caleb asked, confused. That's right. The murders of both Robin Simmons and Brady Nelson. Caleb became wide-eyed and shocked at the recent discovery. And Brady Nelson? You told me he was alive. Did I? My mistake. You son of a bitch! I'll get you for this, you lying bastard! As soon as Caleb got up to swing for the fences, 2 officers came in and apprehended him. I like to keep things dramatic, so I didn't move an inch. It is true, though, Brady Nelson is actually dead. However, that doesn't mean I didn't have the opportunity to talk to him. You see, there's a reason I've been able to nail so many criminals for their murders. You see, I can talk to ghosts. I've been able to ever since my age was in the single digits. Now, that may sound cliche, I know, but it's really helped in terms of solving murder cases. Just imagine questioning the victim about their own murder. They may not always have the answer to the most obvious question, who killed you? But the information they provide goes along well with the evidence at the crime scene. It's hard to explain exactly what it is I have, whether it's a superpower or a curse. Maybe it's just some ability handed down to me by God or some unknown force. Regardless, I'm stuck with it for who knows how long. So, in the meantime, I'm going to use this ability as best I can in the world of police investigation and put criminals in their place. Now, how it works is pretty self-explanatory, but how I implement the ability into my investigations is pretty tricky. It's not like I can go to the chief and tell him, oh, by the way, Robin Simmons' ghost came up to me and said that Caleb Linderman killed her. I can't exactly prove it, so you just have to take my word for it. First of all, there's no way in hell he'd believe me, and second, like I already said, I wouldn't have any physical evidence to pin it on the criminal. So, I have to find creative ways to use my ability to find evidence that's presentable to a jury. Such as hearing Robin Simmons tell me that Caleb Linderman killed her and he left his underwear under the bed. That was evidence enough to get a search warrant for Caleb's residence. After finding Brady's body, he provided me with the rest of the story. But in order to connect Caleb to both Brady and Robin's murders, I tricked Caleb into thinking Brady was still alive and that he gave me the whole story. After Caleb confessed, that was what we needed to arrest him. The rest is up to the lawyers and jurors of Detroit to put him away for a long time. Well, partner, you did damn good getting a confession. Honestly, I didn't think that would work, said Gary. Gary's been my partner coming on 4 years now. He's a real stand-up guy with a family of 4. At this point, he's pretty much my best friend. We have barbecues, go out to the bar, and even go on vacations with both our families. I wouldn't want anyone else on the force to be my partner in crime fighting. Gary doesn't know about my special ability, though, so let's just keep it that way. Oh, come on, pal. You have no trust in me at all, I responded. Nope, none at all, Gary laughed. You sure got creative with your story, though. We didn't even find a murder weapon for Brady Nelson. Well, I figured it didn't matter all that much whether or not I was right with the minor details. I just needed to guilt Caleb enough to get a confession. Lo and behold, we got exactly what we needed. Yeah, I guess so. What do you say we go out for a beer tonight to celebrate? Well, murder isn't something to celebrate, and neither is putting a man away in prison. I understand that, but you did a good job, and that is something to celebrate. Come on, the first round's on me, and the rest are all on you, Gary said with a smile. I laughed and said, oh, just because I'm the big hero, all of a sudden I'm getting the fat paychecks? I wish. Captain wouldn't so much as give me a coupon for free pizza.
Don't you worry though, bud. I'll make sure you get your fair share of Bud Light tonight. And with that, I spent the rest of the workday filling out all the necessary paperwork to push the case of Robin Simmons through to the next steps. Before finishing up, though, Captain Tomlinson walked into my office. "Nice work today, Detective. It's not easy to get enough evidence in a murder case, but a confession is the top tier in the alternative." "Thank you, sir. It's just another day in the life of a Detroit police detective." Tomlinson chuckled. "Always a smart-ass, Jack. Sometimes it's humorous, other times it makes me want to kick your ass so hard that your nose bleeds. Anyways, I just wanted to come tell you that you did a good job. Have a nice night, Detective." "You too, sir. Oh, can you drop this off in the mailroom for me? I'm meeting Gary down at Rhodey's Pub to celebrate a job well done." I handed the captain that same old manila folder full of paperwork to be sent off to the courthouse. After logging off my computer, I grabbed my duster, yes, I said a duster, and headed out the door for Rhodey's Pub. Hey everybody, thank you so much for listening to Chapter 1 of my first story, Jack Fletcher and the Case of the Axe Murderer. This is kind of a new thing that I'm doing here on YouTube and on Reddit. I kind of have a small passion for writing these kind of short stories, and I just kind of want to get my foot out there, and I think it'd be kind of fun to have an audiobook available at the same time I release the story on Reddit. So if you're listening on YouTube, I just want to say thank you so much for listening, and if you're excited for Chapter 2, just know that I'm working on it right now. Y'all have a wonderful night, stay scared, and Jack Fletcher will see you soon.